Another special guest. His name is Andy Hite. And today we're going to be talking about how to become your own boss, especially during these harrowing times where, we're going through COVID, everybody's working from home. What do we do with our time and how do we make some extra income? So again, welcome to the show. But before we get started, I really, really would love for you, especially if you're watching live or going to watch the replay, let us know where you're joining us from. Are you from the States? Are you from abroad, from Africa, Europe? I've had some crazy places actually check in before. We've had Africa, we've had the UK, London. So let us know. I would love to know. Really quickly, this is sponsored by Squarespace, this episode, and by Artlist. And so without further ado, let's just get into it. I want to introduce you to my friend, Andy Hite. Now, Andy Hite, this man is doing some amazing stuff, okay? Andy has 20 years of experience in this industry of business leaders and entrepreneurs. Now he enjoys working with business leaders and entrepreneurs just like him. He's come to know what it takes to be successful and wants to support all of you guys who are watching, business leaders, entrepreneurs, to help you get to that next level. And he, if he wasn't a full-time coach, he mentioned that he would probably be doing something in real estate. I'll let him expand on that a little later. He's an investor himself, and he has a bit of a background in building and developing. So that's pretty cool. And what's even more amazing about him is that Andy, in some time in his past life, or I guess still can currently do, right, Andy?
Forever ago.
He was he had a professional career in award-winning singing and acting. So that's pretty cool, guys. And finally, he runs this awesome Facebook group called Entrepreneur Success Principles. If you haven't already, jump on that. Get into his Facebook group because there's so much value that he gives, and you will learn lots. So please check that out. What we're going to talk about today really quickly is why leave a stable job? Crazy, right? Why would anybody do that? How do you know when it's the right time to leave? What are some key elements to get to your business started if you're thinking about leaving? And can you invest too much in coaching? Coaching is going to be a big focus today. And for those of you who are watching, coaches out there, you're going to want to take some screenshots, listen in really carefully because we're going to give you some golden nuggets on how to get your thing going on. Okay. Lex, we're going to talk about what advice would you give, or Andy, what advice would you give to beginner coaches and that are looking to make the leap? So if you're watching, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. So without further ado, let's welcome Andy in here. And Andy, let's go. How are we doing today, Andy?
I'm so good, man. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed our friendship across the months, and I'm glad to be doing something more formal with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So for those of you who don't know, me and Andy, we go a little bit back. We are working with the same coach, Christina Berkeley. If you're listening, this is a definite, big shout out to you. Thank you. And I've seen Andy grow within, I think, the last half a year, something like that. And holy smokes, guys, like, I know this may sound a bit biased. Coaching, what it can do for you, or what it's done for me, Andy, maybe you'll attest to this too. Holy smokes. Never in a million years would I have thought that I would become a coach, right? But it's funny enough, I kind of stumbled on it. And I would love to know more about you, Andy. How did you get into coaching?
That's an excellent question. I had a great career in theater. I was artistic director of a theater, producing a theater. I've always had side interests, right? But I just kind of stumbled on the world of coaching. It sounded curious to me. I've been into personal development since my early 20s. So I'm always looking for that thing that's going to help me kind of up level myself and how I show up. And so I started working with a coach prior to our Christina Berkeley days, and really fell in love with the work and the results that I was getting, and just kind of thought maybe I'd explore. Several years ago, about 7 years ago, I had a therapist that encouraged me to kind of, she thought I'd be a good therapist. So that seed was always planted. I was never a good student, so I knew going back to school to get those degrees were not in the cards for me. Um, but when I got introduced to the world of coaching, I just fell in love with it. So I went and got a certification and said, let's play. Let's see what happens.
Nice. Awesome. And so before we get on here, I want to know, for those of you who are watching, what do you expect to get out of this episode? We're talking about becoming your own boss, hopefully building your own business. But I would love to know what you want us to get out of here. Type in the chats if you have a chance, and I will address them. I can see them. So whoever's there, please let us know what you're expecting. So first question, Andy, thank you for that background story. Why leave a stable job? I mean, isn't that kind of crazy to think that, we both left our jobs to go pursue this thing? Why did you do it? Or why would anyone do it?
Um, I think to sort of pursue that thing that we all want in life, which is freedom and happiness and joy and being able to wake up in the morning excited about what we're about to do and go to bed without a worry or without knowing that you did something that you love and that you're good at and that you're giving to the world and making an impact. That's why I did it.
Definitely. No, I'm right there with you. I love this whole idea of service, right? When I first started getting to this coaching business, we're thinking we got to sell coaching. We got to sell something. But I'm not sure about you. Maybe you'll attest to this. Reframing it to, it's not really selling, but it's more serving people and helping them get what they really want, right?
Yeah, well, I think you and we're both in the sort of prosperous coach community, right? And there's a way of doing business in that community, which really resonates for me because I suck at selling. It doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't. I may be good at it, but I don't like it. And so, what is great about what we do and how we do it is really we just go out and serve. We find somebody that might be curious or have a need, and we do our best to help them, to give them some perspective or to challenge some thoughts or beliefs so that they can then look at their life and their work in a different way.
Exactly. No, I love that. And just going back to the key question here, why would anybody leave the job to pursue their own, business, right?
Yeah.
If I think about it, some people say, oh, I want to pursue, or I've heard some people want to pursue their own business because they want more freedom. They want more income, right?
Yeah.
They want to have a more flexible schedule or whatnot. I want to be tied down to a desk. But the truth of the matter is, and if I can give my own personal opinion here, is, it's like saying I want to have a kid to have more free time. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I just had a kid and I'm running my own business. So it's a double whammy for me.
Yeah.
But what I can say is why I left was to have that sense of purpose, fulfillment, and knowing that what I'm doing is not only for me, but for my family, and it's aligned with my values.
100%. I mean, one of the biggest, because when I walked away from my job, I just walked away. I burned the bridges. One of the things that really helped me do that, the inspiration, was we all as parents, we say, kids, chase your dreams. Don't be afraid. But many of us, most of us don't model that, right? And I thought, this is an opportunity for me to actually chase a dream of mine, to be my own boss, to have that freedom, to do something that I find really meaningful, but also to teach my kids what it looks like. Not only the successes, but the struggles. I can't tell you how many times my kids have come in this door and said, "Did you get a client today?" Nope. "Did you get a client today?" Nope. I think I got a client. I didn't get a client. So it's not all rosy, right? Of course, nothing is. There's the yin and yang of business at times, right? But I really wanted to show them what that looks like, and with dedication and hard work, yeah, you can really make something meaningful for yourself.
Definitely. And I love how you're saying, these different waves that come with the business, and to be quite frank, it's not for the faint of heart. So many people get into this, and I've seen them try. They give up, saying, oh, my return on investment isn't showing anything. I might as well just go back and find a job, right? So to know, sorry, go ahead.
No, that happens all the time. And usually it's because people quit too soon, right?
Mm,
We're in an instant gratification culture, and we feel like if we don't really see meaningful results in 3, 6 months, a year, well, it's just not going to work. I mean, statistically, we know you have to give a business 3 years. You just have
exactly.
to. And 5 years is one of the key metrics, the markers of, okay, this can work, right? But we don't typically have the stomach to last that long in discovering our path, you know?
Right, right. Definitely, definitely. And so we're going to talk about more about that, how to deal with that, how to set yourself up for success in a little bit here. But I really, really would love for those who are watching to get involved here and let us know, hands on heart, how many people are wearing PJs right now? I know I'm wearing mine. I know you can't see it.
Are you
I'm
really?
not going to. I am. Yeah. I call this my penguin suit.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here. I got my black shirt on. You do not want to see what's under. Trust me. But this is the greatest part about working from home, is you get to do this kind of stuff. Have fun with it, right? Kind of like this show.
I'll tell you, like, I am fully like clothed, right? But I do have my house slippers on.
Yes, there we go. See, you guys heard
You
it.
gotta be cozy,
You
right?
got to be cozy. You got to have fun with it. And for those of you who are thinking about building your business and doing, these videos or live chats, these are one of the perks obviously that you probably experienced already. So please have fun with it, right?
Holy yes. I certainly have been guilty of wearing a nice shirt and some shorts. I mean, that's
There we go.
absolutely happened.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. So in all seriousness, okay, next question here. How do we know when it's the right time to leave?
That's a hard one, right?
Mm,
Because we have talked, and some of the questions that we talked about discussing were like, it made me think of golden handcuffs, right? Just that being handcuffed to stability and predictability. I think the thing that most entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs have to reckon with, and I work with a lot of them, is getting comfortable and secure and knowing that nothing is certain, right? We learned this earlier this year with COVID. No one saw that coming. No one saw the economy tanking. No one saw all the folks that were furloughed or lost their job. Nothing is certain.
right.
So it really comes down to when you are able to feel comfortable and certain to chase that dream, that's when it's right. The true
Nice.
answer is it's always right, because you always want to be doing the thing that is right for your soul. But you have to get to that point where you can stomach it and that it's okay.
Right. Oh, I love that. And if I speak a little more to that, how do you find that certainty? I mean, how do you find that? I have my own ways,
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot of internal work, being fine, being able to sit in the unknown, knowing that on the most perfect days, I am perfectly imperfect,
Yeah.
right?
Totally. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
I've been working on this my whole life. I'm still working on it, right? And it comes with practice and believing in yourself. And the truth of the matter is, for me, I I had to get coaching on it. I needed some outside perspective, sorry, to help me see what I couldn't see.
Nice, nice. And I want to say, shout out, Marta, I see you. Welcome to
Uh-oh.
the show. So glad you're here. And we also have Sam.
Sam.
How we doing? So she has a question here. When you are your own boss, why not? I'm currently trying to create my business that supports me, traveling, working anywhere I am. Ooh, well, Sam, good on you. I love that. Welcome to the show. Do you want to take the first shot at that? How do you do that? Create your own business so you can go anywhere you want, Andy.
You walk up to the edge of the cliff and you jump.
Yes.
I mean, truthfully, that's all it is. We can talk about getting things in alignment, and all of that is to create certainty for ourselves, right? Um, all it takes is the leap.
Right. And that leap, I mean, there are certain things that we can put in place to make sure that leap is less scary, but definitely you got to leap because, if you think about it, you go in anything half baked, 50% here, 50% there. How do you think your clients are going to see you if they know that, you're giving 50% to them and you got your other foot in somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Just a little perspective.
Yeah. Well, and part of what holds people back is the fear of making a mistake, the fear of loss, the fear of any of those things. The truth of the matter is, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be comfortable with those things because they're going to happen. I think it
Right.
was Walt Disney filed for bankruptcy more than 5 times, right? And had he not had the stomach for that, we wouldn't have the Mickey Mouse. Right? And so many other examples of that, right? It takes being comfortable, and it's totally possible to do so in that uncertainty. Because again,
Definitely.
we never really have certainty.
Exactly. And think about just, one story just came to mind was actually Colonel Sanders, you know,
Yes, 67 years old.
67 years old, right? And this guy is starting to make fried chicken after going through, I don't know how many people or how many restaurants he approached or investors to get that funding. But this guy, I mean, I love that chicken. I don't know about you, but
He drove around the country in his caddy, just talking to all kinds of places, seeing if they would buy his recipe.
exactly, and that's the point. And I don't know if you guys have heard of another coach. Oh my God, her name is escaping me now. Marta is the one who actually introduced me to her. And she talks about making money as a life coach. And there are 3 basic things that you really want to do. It's 1, let people know that you're a life coach, right? 2, you want to show up and give them the best service possible. And 3, I believe, and I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, is don't give up, right? 3 basic principles for anything that could be applied to any entrepreneurial venture that you want to go for, right?
And do you know the key one of those where people stop is number 1. Speaking loud and proud into the world what you are, what you do, and how you help people, or what your product is.
Right.
Right? People are so sheepish about it because if we're out and about and we get uh dissed, for lack of a better word, dissed. What am I, back in the 80s? For it feels like we're just going to be cast out of the tribe and killed. Nope.
Right. Oh yeah, and totally. And I love that story. I heard it first from Rich Litvin, 100 years ago, what they would do if you were talking about something that they disliked, you would be outcasted and basically you'd die, right?
Yeah, cast out of the tribe.
Exactly. And that's where that ingrained fear comes from us now to today that we're living. So that's why actually, to be honest, my coach helped me through that,
Me
right?
too.
Love it. Love it. So one thing that I do want to highlight, guys, and that I've learned in my personal experience is that people don't really care, especially if you're trying to be a life coach. People don't really care about your certifications. I mean, you can go to learn NLP. You can go learn to be a health and wellness coach. It doesn't matter where you get your certification from. What they care about is the results that you can get them.
100%.
And we're gonna talk about Andy's results too. And the results that he gets his clients. So in a bit here, hold tight. We're definitely going to touch that. But I would love to jump into this question of what are some key elements? Now, we were talking about making that leap of faith, right? What are some key elements that you feel that need to be there in order to make it less scary to make that leap, to get your business started?
Yeah, I mean, it really does take someone to be able to put everything out on the table and to be very honest about where they are, right? It doesn't matter if you're going into insurance sales or coaching or you're starting a construction business. You need to have the education needed, or the certifications or licenses needed. You need to have the tools. You need to have the legal structures, all the nuts and bolts. Those things are relatively simple to get. And then the courage to take the leap.
Love it. Love it.
It's not like brain surgery. Like literally, we could pick a profession and say, okay, if you want to go into insurance sales, you have to have those um, licensure certifications. You got to pass the exam, and then you go out and tell people you're in insurance. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty simple.
And I love that. You know, that's the beauty of this whole industry that we're in coaching, is that it's pretty simple. Yet a lot of people make it a lot more complex and difficult than it really is. Right. And so I want to know, people, whoever's watching right now, are you an employee or are you a business owner? I would love to know. Put in the comment section below, just to see who we're talking to here. And if you're looking to become a business owner, you definitely know who to go talk to. Okay. Uh, so one thing that I did want to offer up, and this is something that I found in my personal experience, was there are three things basically that you need to do. And the mindset that I love to operate from is start with the end in mind. Right. So really quick tip, especially for those of you who are trying to build your own consulting agency or coaching business, start with this. How much do you want to earn per year? Right. Realistically, like say you were working full time, you want to make 60,000, for example, right? How much you want to earn per year? Then we create these things called packages. What is that? I remember the first time I sat with a coach and I was trying to get my business started. He's like, what are your packages? I'm like, what? What is a package? What are you talking about? You mean my six pack? Like, I don't have that.
I got a case.
Yeah, exactly. But what are your packages really? And I'll give you a quick example about that. And finally, how many clients do you actually need to sustain, right? So what it looks like really quickly, say for example, you want to make 60,000 a year. You could offer packages of 1 to 7,000. And I know for some that may be really daunting. What the heck is someone going to pay you $7,000 for, right? For people that work with me as a life coach, full disclosure, they're paying within the ranges of 3,500 to 5,000, depending on the case and what they want to work on, right? For me. How about you, Andy? What are your packages, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh no, I'm an open book. Anywhere from 5 to 15,000.
Nice. Awesome. So mine was for one-on-one coaching, to give the full range. You can have different packages, definitely. I think it was 3,000 to 28,000 is what I offer, depending on the package that you pick, right?
Yeah.
And finally, 24 clients in total, right? If you were to take that as an example, this is what you would get. Take a screenshot, soak this in. I know this might be a bit of a heavy slide here, but all in all you need is 24 clients to make about, a $60,000 annual income you doing coaching. I know this sounds way too simple, but guys, believe me, totally doable, totally possible. Andy, you back me on this?
I'm totally with you. The only thing I might offer up is and I had to be careful with this for me, was what do I think I can realistically make?
Yes.
For me, I put a ceiling on myself. I think I could realistically make X. Les Brown says, and I'll paraphrase,
Okay.
shoot for the moon. Worst case scenario, you would land among the stars.
Yes.
Right? It may not be realistic to say, I want to make $1 million in my first year. But go for 6K. If you get to 60, great.
You got it. You got it. And you want to see shooting for the moon? Let me show you this slide that I found online. And I saw this and it was a complete awakening within me. How to make $1 million. Sounds daunting, right? But here we go. How to make $1 million. Check out this slide. Sell a product for $200 to 5,000 people, or you can sell $4,000 products to 250 people. I mean, you think about it. You're on social media. How many people are watching you, right? I guarantee you, whoever's watching this, in your immediate network, you have, 100 people? Minimum? Who knows 100 people, right? Almost everybody knows 100 people. And if you don't, There are other ways to do it, obviously. But this is just one way, right? And other ways of doing it is you can do 5,000 people and have them pay $17 a month for 12 months. These are obviously, some ideas are Facebook groups or monthly group coaching calls that you want to run. These are just some examples, right? Think about it. Having a room of 5,000 people listening to you, you giving them an experience, it's definitely something worth looking into, right?
I love that. I love how it just breaks it down. It kind of dispels the myth of what's possible.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And to open your eyes to the possibilities is such a privilege as a coach, for me especially. I'm
totally.
sure for you too, to
Totally.
have a person see what their full potential is and help them achieve that.
Yes. And I say all the time, I believe that you, and you have far more potential and power within you than you are courageous enough to tap currently.
Nice. Love
Jump
it.
in.
As you say that, I remember someone told me those exact words. And you know what I said to them? You're full of shit.
Mm.
But I stuck with it. I'm like, no way, that's not me. I can't do that kind of stuff. But as you try and you get those small micro wins, you're like, oh, wait, yes, I can. Yeah, oh, wait, he can too. Wait a second, things are working, right? Um, it's amazing how life works out, right?
It just takes some courage, right? There is a
Yes.
little space before courage. And that is that space that you feel like you deserve enough to take the leap of courage. That you, whatever it is that you're aiming for, I believe that I deserve it. And then when you take that leap of courage over and over again, you build confidence. And in a confident place, you can create anything.
Yes. Yes. Totally. I totally resonate with that. And to find that courage within, I believe the saying, and I'm paraphrasing, it only takes about 20 seconds of courage before you get over the hump of, I'm too scared.
Yeah.
And then everything just kind of flows. You get into the state of, okay, I got this, and just let it flow. The innate wisdom comes in and you're feeling it. You're moving with your intuition, right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question here. Is it possible for someone to invest too much in coaching? What's your take on that?
That's an awesome question. I think the short answer to that is no. Um, I think you just have to be careful where you invest your money. I've invested what for me is a small fortune, but it's absolutely worth it. Like, we'd do it again in a heartbeat. We'd encourage anyone sitting in a session with me to do it in a heartbeat. You know, um, it's made all the difference in the world in my short coaching career. Literally,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
doubled my fees a couple of times in a short amount of time, and that wouldn't be possible without, there's a, and it makes total sense, a saying, if you want to do a thing, learn from the person that's doing it, right?
yes, totally. Model.
Sometimes that's exactly right. Learn from them, apprentice with them, have them be your mentor, um, because then you get the information that comes right from the knowing.
Right. And I love that. And, I'm sure many of the viewers who are watching, they've heard the idea of you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with, right?
Yep.
If you're hanging out with the top 5, imagine what you become. What average is that, right?
It truly makes all the difference in the world. And going back to one of your first questions is, what do you need in order to make the leap? One of the things that I would suggest is a team of people
Hmm.
that are going to push you and support you and challenge you. Um,
Yes, yes,
and not being surrounded by the majority who are naysayers. Oh, well, good luck
yes,
with that. Whoo, being an entrepreneur is hard. you know, th-
totally.
that energy is not going to be helpful because we have enough of it internally. We need people to help us get out of it.
Speaking of that energy, I myself just met with my team, my group of 7 lovely coaches who are doing some phenomenal stuff, and they keep me in check. They make sure that I'm on the right path. It's funny. We're a bunch of coaches, but still, me as a coach, I feel like I need coaching, right? As a human being, a lot of people think, coaches are, invincible. Coaches know everything, but that's not true. Coaches are humans too. And I have tons of flaws and I have tons of doubt. I don't know about you, but I definitely appreciate the coaching that I get from my fellow coaches.
Well, think about it, right? We go out into the world and we tell people, if you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, if you want to make more money, if you want to be more fulfilled, sign up with us. We'll coach you how to do that. If we really believed that that was possible, if coaches really believed that that was possible, every single coach would have a coach or at least a team that's going to coach them.
Definitely, definitely. And I would love to know, get the audience involved here. How much have you spent on personal development so far? I think my number, and I was thinking about this before the show, if I exclude my university degree, if you want to call that personal development, maybe within the last 5 years, I spent a good 50 grand.
Yeah, I'd say about in the last year, about 60.
There you go. Okay. And I know that sounds daunting for some people, 50 grand, 60 grand. That's like a whole year's worth of annual income for an average person here, especially in Canada. Don't quote me on that. I don't think that's the average. I think people make a little bit more or less.
I think the average in the States is less than that.
You see? And so,
but again, don't quote me.
Okay.
We'll put in the comments the real numbers.
Exactly. But I think it was totally necessary. What it does is it allows you to save time. You're going to the source, just like you said. You're not having to dabble, look for information, try it, fail, and then try something else. It's just the people that I've hired or the people that I've paid, they are the know-alls. They know what to do. They've walked the path before me, right? And so to have them as mentors, invest in them, that's where the gold is. And to be honest, I've pretty much made that money back. So why not?
Well, and just to clarify too, what it is we're getting being coached and what we coach. Yes, there is some consulting on the nuts and bolts of how to do things. But really what makes the difference is the being that we are as we do the things, right?
Yes.
I mean, think about Harvard Business School. Every year they have X amount of graduates. They all have the same education. What makes some rise to the top and some sink to the bottom? Typically, it is the being that who they are, their beliefs in themselves, their beliefs in the world, their perspectives, attitudes. They're just more conducive to getting things done.
Yes.
And that's what we do as coaches is we alter people's reality to be a more productive reality.
Exactly. And truth be told, to add on to that is you are already as productive as you think you need to be. You just have to turn that switch on. Ooh, yes. Thank you for the mic drop, my friend.
It's within everybody already.
It's true. It's true. And a lot of people are looking for those externalities to find those answers, but the answers are within. And I know, as cliche as that may sound, it's true. I've done it for myself, and I'm sure you've done it for yourself too, my friend.
Still doing it.
And Sam, don't worry, I still hear you. 10K just last year. Holy smokes. Scary stuff, right? But totally necessary. I don't know if it stands true for you. I'm sure it does. But it's a lot of money, right? So why would someone do that? One of the quotes that I love, and actually you guys may know who this is, CEO, a former CEO of Home Depot. I absolutely believe that people, unless coached, never reach their maximum capabilities. This quote has struck a key for me dearly. You don't know what you don't know, right? That unconscious incompetence that is all within us. And we're saying, how can I do that?
Yeah.
Who can help me uncover that? My coach did. Your coach did. We can help people do that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the beauty of the whole industry. And so I would love to go into the next question. What advice would you give to beginner coaches looking to make the leap? I know you've given so much already, but maybe there's something that we missed. So what would you say?
First and foremost, and I don't know where this came from for me, but when I went through, I did get a certificate. Everyone needs to do that, but if you feel like that's something that would give you a foundation, great, go get it. Right? No problem. They're really not that expensive. They don't have to take forever. But for some reason, I knew as soon as I got that piece of paper in my hand, I was going to hire a coach. That made all the difference in the world for me. You and I talk about Christina Berkeley, who is the coach that we're working with. This was a different coach, right? But it literally made all the difference in the world. I went through coaching school with 8 beautiful women, awesome people that I still stay in touch with. And I was fortunate enough to grab some success early on, that 2 of those women are now my clients.
Hey.
And I get to share with them everything that I learned. And I get to tell them, yes, I'm having some successes, but I'm only 6 months, 9 months ahead of you. So let's rock and roll. The thing that I truly would recommend for everyone is to find that community that you resonate with, and find a coach that can mentor you.
Yes.
The second part to that is don't stop. Don't stop. Most people get 6 months in, a year in, and they're not where they hoped they might be. And then they're like, well, this isn't going to work for me. Again, if you're not willing to give something 3 years, it's going to be difficult.
Yes.
You may strike gold. People do it all the time. But you have to have that leeway to give yourself some time to build a business.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. And if I can add to that,
please,
some advice that I would give to beginner coaches, there's an idea that has worked for some. Think about your annual income, right? People need to live, and think about the minimum level of expenses that you need to make, right? If you can start making 25% off your side hustle, that's a really, really good sign to say that you're onto something. And it may be a time to scale up, go all in, have fun with it. And, if you're looking for metrics, think about your living expenses. You got to eat. So you probably don't want to quit the full-time job just yet, if that's what you're doing. But some people just do the full leap right away, which is great. And secondly, be kind to yourself. I love the fact that you're saying, there are going to be days where it's just crap. There are times, especially during this whole building my own business, I felt like I wanted to give up. Nobody wanted my stuff. How am I going to support my family? These are real things that happen to entrepreneurs that aren't very openly spoken about.
Alex, that's every other day for me. Right? It's a roller coaster.
It is.
It's a roller coaster.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Right. I mean, everything, I truly believe everything in life is like energy. It comes into being and it passes eventually, right? So the good comes and it goes. The bad comes and it goes. So you got to remember that all the efforts that you're pushing towards is for something bigger than you. It's something bigger than me, that's for sure, right? I'm not doing it only for myself, but for my family, my kids, my wife, my direct family, brothers, mom, dad, and really feeling that sense of fulfillment, especially to know when you can serve somebody so powerfully to transform them or make a slight change of betterment into their lives is huge.
100%. Well said.
Awesome. So without further ado, guys, I want you to get to know Andy a little bit better. We're going to go to a section here of the show called Rapid Fire, okay, where I'm going to ask Andy 10 questions, and he's going to answer as fast as he can. Are you ready, Andy?
Yeah, I guess. I'm
As
so
ready as you'll
nervous.
ever be. All right, so here we go.
All right.
Question number one. What does success mean to you?
Enjoying what I do and going to bed at night, happy and fulfilled, and knowing that
Nice.
I'm doing something worthwhile.
Beautiful, beautiful. Next question. What's a secret most people don't know about you?
um, Most people, especially in this coaching world, well, no, you said it. I sing. What's another one? I love motorcycles.
Yeah, I
I
used
love
to have one.
motorcycles. I had like 6.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
And as
You
soon
beat
as
me on
my
that one.
kids go to college, I told my wife this when I sold my bike when my kids were born. I said, when at 50, when they go to college, I'm going to buy another motorcycle, and you cannot say it's midlife crisis.
Nice. Nice. Oh God. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna tell my wife that. All right. Next question here. How do you define happiness?
Laughter. It's my key metric. As
Nice.
long I know my personality. If I'm laughing, things are moving in the right direction.
You were laughing a lot during this show, so
Because you
we're
make
gonna
me
say
happy.
love it, love it. What is one item you could never live without?
That book right there, the one that's tall. It's
Yeah, let's check that out.
my, my wife gave it to me for my 40th. And on the days that followed, you can't really see, sorry, but she wrote love letters on every
Oh,
single page every day that followed until the book was full.
oh, that's awesome. Huh? So you have it, guys. An awesome gift idea for Christmas or your loved ones. That's really sweet. Love that. Thank you for sharing, Andy.
Yeah,
Favorite place to hide out?
right here in this office.
Yes.
I have a do not disturb in session sign, and it usually is on the door,
Ooh, nice.
whether or not I'm in session or not.
Love it. Love it. Hopefully your family's not watching this episode afterwards, right?
Yes, exactly.
Leader or follower?
Stepping into more leader,
Nice.
stepping out of those follower shoes.
Love it. Last time you were emotional?
Last week,
Nice.
tears were flowing.
Awesome. And for the record, guys, yes, men cry. Real men cry.
And crying.
You got it. Well,
Everybody
I think
cries. It's just whether or not they show people or not.
fair enough. I think we answered this one. What makes you smile?
What makes my smile?
Or what makes you smile?
Oh, my family, my 3 girls, my 2 daughters, and my wife.
Nice. Love it. Chocolate or caramel?
Chocolate.
Ooh, nice.
Absolutely.
And finally, what impresses you?
Confidence.
Hmm.
Authenticity.
2 things that are really, really hard to come across nowadays, eh?
Especially authenticity. I mean, there's a lot of false bravado out there.
Yeah.
But confidence is a result of just believing and being 100% authentic.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I want to say thank you for coming in on the show today. For those of you who joined us, Sam, Marta, you guys are awesome. Thank you for interacting with us. Don't forget to subscribe if you've got this far into the video. And if you can, help me like it, share with the people that you love, okay? And if you want to connect with Andy, here's his website, here's his email. Go check out his Facebook group. Goes without saying, this man is amazing. Please reach out to Andy. And I want to say thank you again for joining me, my friend. I look forward to our future conversations.
Hey, I really appreciate the invitation. Every conversation is always fun, and I love seeing what you're creating.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Andy. Thanks, everyone. And have an awesome life. Awesome day. See you guys.